welcome back to a chapter a day. Happy Friday. We've made it safely to the end of yet another week. And I am not in my usual place. I'm in another state visiting my son and his family, my granddaughter. So I just slipped away so I can get this recording done. And we are going to be reading 1 Kings chapter 13 today. Yesterday we read about some stuff is happening. Rehoboam, which is Solomon's son, is now reigning as king in his place. Rehoboam has asked advice from the older men and then the younger men, but somehow he took the counsel of the younger men, which told him to go ahead and chastise the enemies of his father, King Solomon, even more than before, because apparently, like Jeroboam and two other sets of people were not so much in Solomon's favor. Jeroboam, especially because God prophesied that he would be the next king. So just like how Saul was after his father David, Solomon's father David, to kill him because of that prophecy, Solomon is doing the same thing now with someone else. So Jeroboam has his own group of Israelites. He has 10 tribes. Solomon has maybe like one and a half, because I think one of the tribes was kind of broken in two. And it's now going to be like they want to fight each other, just like when, not Adonijah, but Absalom had wanted to fight his father. So it's Israelites against Israelites here. Okay. Um, so Rehoboam has sent out someone to collect taxes for him, and the people killed the person that they sent out, and he was chased. He had to run away. So he was just he realized that they would have stoned him too. Israel stoned the man he sent out. He sent out a man by the name of Adoram. So now Rehoboam and Jeroboam are at odds. So God sent a prophet to tell um, Rehoboam not to fight against the children of Israel. So they did listen, and after they decided to call it a truce, Jeroboam came up with the idea, hey, the temple is in Jerusalem, and that's where Rehoboam reigns. So now if the children of Israel go over to Jerusalem to the temple, they might be persuaded to stay there and become part, or return to having Rehoboam as king. So now he comes up with the idea he needs to do something. Although God prophesied to him he'd have the 10 kingdoms, he still thinks he needs to do something on behalf of God. So he decides to build two golden calves. Idolatry. From the time you hear calves and gold, you know that's idolatry. And has the children of Israel worshiping these two abominations, much unto God's displeasure. So let's hear what happens next. Chapter 13. And behold, there came a man out of God, out of Judah, by the word of the Lord unto Bethel. And Jeroboam stood by the altar to burn incense. And he cried against the altar in the word of the Lord, and said, O altar, altar, thus saith the Lord, behold, a child shall be born unto the house of David, Josiah by name. And upon thee shall he offer the priests of the high places that burn incense upon thee, and men's bones shall be burnt upon thee. And he gave a sign the same day, saying, This is the sign which the Lord hath spoken. Behold, the altar shall be rent, and the ashes that are upon it shall be poured out. And it came to pass, when King Jeroboam heard the saying of the man of God, which had cried against the altar in Bethel, that he put forth his hand from the altar, saying, Lay hold on him. And his hand which he had put forth against him dried up, so that he could not pull it in again to him. The altar also was rent, and the ashes poured out from the altar, according to the sign which the man of God had given by the word of the Lord. Oh my gosh. So here's what's happening. Anytime Israel is in idolatry or doing anything that is against God's ways, I'm not sure if this curtain is too dark, but I'll just make a little more light. I don't know if that will help. But anyway, Jeroboam, a prophet, comes to Jeroboam, because he is burning incense on the altar, offering up all kinds of abominable sacrifices, has the people worshiping idols. God sends a man, a prophet, to tell him, you know what, the same altar is going to be broken down and rent, and the men's bones, the priests, that these vile men you took and made priests, they are going to be offered up on the same altar. So Jeroboam, of course, nobody likes you to tell them the truth, tries to hold the man to kill him, and his hand dries up. Jeroboam's hand dries up. Let's see what happens next. And the altar was rent. Verse 6. And the king answered and said unto the man of God, entreat now the face of the Lord thy God, and pray for me, that my hand may be restored me again. And the man of God besought the Lord, and the king's hand was restored him again, and became as it was before. And the king said unto the man of God, come home with me and refresh thyself, and I will give thee a reward. And the man of God said unto the king, if thou wilt give me half thine house, I will not go in with thee, neither will I eat bread nor drink water in this place. For so it was charged me by the word of the Lord, saying, eat no bread nor drink water, nor turn again by the same way that thou camest. So he went another way and returned not by the way that he came to Bethel. So this man of God, after asking God to heal Jeroboam's hand, which was done, Jeroboam, wanting to show gratitude, asked the man to come home and have a eat and drink with him. And the man said, no, because it was charged me by God not to do so. Don't turn away to the right hand or left. Don't do that. So he went another way to go back to where he came from. Verse 11. Now there dwelt an old prophet in Bethel, and his sons came and told him all the works that the man of God had done that day in Bethel, the words which he had spoken unto the king. Them they told also to their father. And their father said unto them, what way went he? For his sons had seen what way the man of God went, which came from Judah. And he said unto his sons, saddle me the ass. So they saddled him the ass, and he rode thereon, and went after the man of God, and found him sitting under an oak. And he said unto him, art thou the man of God that camest from Judah? And he said, I am. Then he said unto him, come home with me and eat bread. So now here's what's happening. Another prophet hears what happened. His sons came and told him what happened with Jeroboam and the temple, and how, the man's words, the man of God's words came to pass, how he healed Jeroboam's hand, etc. And now this prophet is going after the man, the other man that told Jeroboam these prophecies. And let's hear what happens. Verse 16. Now he wants the man to come home with him. So the man refused to go. Now we don't have a name for this prophet, just the man. The man refused to go with Jeroboam, and he tried to find another way to avoid anyone. Now this prophet is going after the man to try and convince him to come home with him. Okay? Remember, God already told him what he should or shouldn't do, the first prophet. So I'll call them prophet 1 and prophet 2. Verse 16. And he said, I may not return with thee, nor go in with thee, neither will I eat bread, nor drink water with thee in this place. For it was said to me by the word of the Lord, thou shalt eat no bread, nor drink water there, nor turn again to go by the way that thou camest. He said unto him, I am a prophet also, as thou art. And an angel spake unto me by the word of the Lord, saying, bring him back with thee into thine house, that he may eat bread and drink water. But he lied unto him. So he went back with him, and did eat bread in his house, and drank water. And it came to pass, as they sat at the table, that the word of the Lord came unto the prophet that brought him back. Oh my gosh. So every time I read this, I'm always saying there's something more symbolic here than just what's happening literally. So the first prophet decides to listen to this false prophet, I would call him. Prophet 1 listens to prophet 2 when he says an angel told him, prophet 2, to tell prophet 1 to come home with him. He was not telling the truth. Prophet 2 was lying to prophet 1. So I call him the false prophet. But prophet 1, not having enough faith in God, which is something that happens to us. We take other people's words over God's words sometimes because we don't have enough faith for ourselves. Verse 21. So he took the man back, and the prophet went with him. And then God is speaking now through the second prophet to tell the man something, to tell the first prophet, give him a message. Verse 21. And he cried unto the man of God that came from Judah, saying, Thus saith the Lord, forasmuch as thou hast disobeyed the mouth of the Lord, and hast not kept the commandment which the Lord thy God commanded thee, but camest back, and hast eaten bread and drunk water in the place of the which the Lord did say to thee, Eat no bread and drink no water, thy carcass shall not come unto the sepulchre of thy fathers. And it came to pass, after he had eaten bread and after he had drunk, that he saddled for him the ass, to wit, for the prophet whom he had brought back. And when he was gone, a lion met him by the way and slew him, and his carcass was cast in the way, and the ass stood by it. The lion also stood by the carcass. And behold, men passed by and saw the carcass cast in the way, and the lion standing by the carcass, and they came and told it in the city where the old prophet dwelt. Man, so the first prophet, after he was told by the second prophet that he disobeyed and he would be punished because he did so, he saddled up the donkey for the second prophet, for the first prophet to leave. While the first prophet is on his way, going home, a lion attacks him. The lion doesn't eat him up, it doesn't cheer, it just maybe, it kills him, and his body, his carcass is lying in the street while the lion and the ass stands around it. To me, that is so symbolic, but I can't even stop to tell you exactly why. I'm still trying to figure it out. Verse 26. And when the prophet that brought him back from the way heard thereof, he said, It is the man of God who was disobedient unto the word of the Lord. Therefore the Lord hath delivered him unto the lion, which hath torn him and slain him, according to the word of the Lord which he spake unto him. And he spake to his son, saying, Saddle me the ass. And they saddled him. And he went and found his carcass in the way, and the ass and the lion standing by the carcass. The lion had not eaten the carcass, nor torn the ass. And the prophet took up the carcass of the man of God, and laid it upon the ass, and brought it back. And the old prophet came to the city to mourn and to bury him. And he laid his carcass in his own grave, and they mourned over him, saying, Alas, my brother. Now, I just find this so confusing, because the second prophet is a false, to me, he is wicked. He told the man something that was not true by telling him the angel of the Lord spake unto him to tell the man to come back with him. When they go back, he gets a message from God. The second prophet gets a message from God against what the first prophet had done in coming back by disobeying God and coming back. Now, I think this is a little message here. When you know God has spoken to you, do not let other people tell you otherwise. You have to know. Unless you are firm in your belief, somebody else is going to come along and tell you an untruth, and you're going to believe in it. I think that lion represents Satan, honestly. I'm not sure what the ass represents, but the carcass of the prophet, that's us. We are slain by the enemy because we refuse to listen to God and believe what God, if God spoke to you, he spoke to you. Don't listen to someone else. That, I think, is the lesson there for us. Verse 31. And it came to now the other prophet 2, heard what happened, and he goes to get the body of the first prophet to bury it. Verse 31. And it came to pass after he had buried him, that he spake to his son, saying, When I am dead, then bury me in the sepulchre wherein the man of God is buried. Lay my bones beside his bones. For the saying which he cried by the word of the Lord against the altar in Bethel, and against all the houses of the high places which are in the cities of Samaria, shall surely come to pass. After this thing Jeroboam returned not from his evil way, but made again of the lowest of the people priests of the high places. Whosoever would, he consecrated him, and he became one of the priests of the high places. And this thing became sin unto the house of Jeroboam, even to cut it off and to destroy it from off the face of the earth. Whew. That's the end of 1 Kings chapter 13. I'm going to tell you, ever since I've been reading the Bible and reading that chapter and that incident, it has been mind boggling to me. It is so odd because I'm thinking, was really this, I'm believing the first prophet was actually a real prophet. He had the message. He gave the message to Jeroboam. He healed Jeroboam's hand, or prayed to God to heal Jeroboam's hand after it was afflicted. The altars was definitely rented. What happened? He listened to this other prophet, which I think was the false prophet. And I think this is all symbolic, not just literal. The second prophet was a false prophet who gave him a wrong report about what God had told. God didn't tell him anything to tell the first prophet. He lied to the man. And then after he got a message from God, which is the second prophet, and I'm wondering, did God give, was it really God that gave him that message? Just like with Saul, when they brought up Samuel from the grave. Remember Samuel, the evil spirit that looked like something like Samuel, told Saul what was going to happen because God had already departed from him. And now the devil was in control. He knew what he was allowed to do. And I think it's the same thing that happened here with this one. It's so confusing. And then after the man is killed by the lion doesn't rip him apart or even kill the donkey. The donkey is standing there. So it's like it was a punishment just for that prophet. Oh, I think it's just like us. Satan just sends people to put doubt in our minds against what we believe. And when we fall for it, that's it. He's gotten us. He's slain us. And then the second prophet goes and take up his body to bury it and tell his sons when he dies, when the second prophet dies, to bury him next to the first prophet. I don't get it. Sometimes I think as much as I can find a symbolism with the lion and killing the prophet, the rest of it, only God knows. But I would love you to ponder it and tell me your thoughts. And that's the end of our reading for chapter 13 today. Wonderful. Have a great weekend ahead. And until, keep listening because that's how we have faith in God. Take care. Bye.